Les damos la bienvenida cordialmente a Cristina Guzmán, Priscila Sepúlveda González y Constanza Elgueta, estudiantes de historia de la carrera de Pedagogía en Inglés, cursando un seminario de investigación en el área de literatura inglesa americana contemporánea. ¿Quiénes presentan? Análisis comparativo de la idea de comunidad, presente en la distopía In the Country of the Last Things de Auster y 1984 de George Orwell. Un aplauso, por favor.
Hello everyone, thanks for being here, and we are very happy to be here, sharing this time with you. The title of our presentation is Compared Analysis of the Idea of Community present in the dystopian novels In the Country of Last Things by Auster and 1984 by George Orwell. Well, when we as community is nowadays a trending topic and is broadly studied by human sciences, this literary analysis is conditioned by the idea of community, dealt with George Orwell's novel and Paul Auster's, because these two dystopian books present a quite long-gone ideal of community. 1984 is excellently written, and it constitutes a powerful warning against the dangers of totalitarian political systems, since Orwell had witnessed the absolute political authority in Spain, Germany, and the Soviet Union, and the use of advanced technology to consolidate it. Orwell foresaw post-atomic dictatorship that constantly monitored people through a telescreen in just 35 years into the future. Nowadays, this 1984 is not just an important novel, but the alarm it sounds against the abusive nature of authoritarian governments, but also for its analysis of the psychology of power and the ways in which language and history can be manipulated to control, as it makes the reader to analyze, to control, mass media, politics, social interaction, and all aspects of the community. In the Country of Last Things, on the other hand, was published in 1987, just a few years ahead of Orwell's imagined world. In this book, Anna, the main character, describes the place to which she arrives in search of her brother. This city is nameless and is in constant nightmare of dissolution and decay. This is a scary book that has a clear description of the day-to-day life of homeless people in a chaotic dystopian city. This epistolary book offers a dark vision typical in an end-of-the-world novel, but there are omissions and abstract descriptions that allow the reader to go beyond the complete narration and grasp the nostalgic hope expressed as subjective memories. This precise feature is the one that creates the possibility to connect 1984 and In the Country of Last Things when analyzing the idea of community as a literary resource. As throughout the novels, there is an ideal of community. Every time the main characters evoke their past, these past evokes in their minds enduring moments of reflection about the experiences they face are strongly related to their own subjectivity. This express an opposition to the detaching and decaying world present in their current realities. This subjectivity is what makes the characters interpret their world and lead their actions, creating vivid mental images that the reader can absorb but cannot be taken as the objective representation of reality. The I is always affected, active and reactive. It interacts and transforms the time and space around and inside a unique world. Therefore, we don't expect an objective narration. We need to follow the character's perspective to grasp the theme traces that lead the reader to understand that they embrace hope for an ideal of community, even when there is a dystopian taking place in their world. Subjectivity in this work is related to the idea of self-awareness, always present in the books because it is unequivocally linked to the way in which each individual is an I. The first person experiences and depicts what is perceived through the senses. The I in context is always the result of an interaction between the self and the social environment, since there are no singular beings, but social beings, as it is stated in Nazism operative community. The idea of subjectivity is not understood from an individual perspective, which tends to be selfish, isolated from everyone and everything, and that does not understand the importance of the other's role but tries to diminish it and destroy it. In this sense, when Anna and Samuel meet each other, Anna gets to the realization that keeping the other alive was something an outsider would do. In similar situations, people in the city have been known to kill each other. What prevented us, I'm quoting, what prevented us from harming each other was the simple fact that we did not belong here. The individual subjectivity murders the other and even gets to justify genocides. But one perceived in the main characters of these novels is linked to others, for others, toward others. The main characters' subjectivity is formed and nurtured by their environment and the others in it. They do not intend to murder others, nor to alienate themselves, but on the contrary, they seek the cleanliness mentioned and therefore avoid violence. This cleanliness we mentioned is related to the idea of utopia we will develop later on. The idea of community is the reflection of the utopia that these characters have. Despite the fact that Anna and Wisdom live in an apocalyptic world, they keep the feeling of their idyllic place, which is made through their memories. This is constantly reflected on the desire of each one to recover the feeling of belonging, the need of community.
But as the utopia is inside the character's mind, it might be subjective. But what is utopian for some of us might be dystopian for others, and vice versa. Quote, but what are we imagining when we speak of utopia and dystopia? We not only is intuitively obvious that one person's utopia may appear quite dystopian to another, and that the terms have meant different things at different times and in different places. This proves that utopia is a thing in a constant change. The idea not only changes from person to person, it also changes from age to age, from country to country, and so on. Taking into consideration the two novels, before Anna and Winston live in these post-apocalyptic worlds, they do not think about these realities as idyllic. But once they have lost them, memory is what creates this idea of an ideal community inside their own. Margaret Macmillan points out about this process. Memory, as psychology shows us, can be elusive. We all remember fragments of the past, sometimes with great detail, but we do not always remember with accuracy. We think that memories can be carved in stone. Once done, they do not change. But the fact is that memory is not only selective, but also malleable. We edit our memories over the years, partly out of a natural human instinct to make our own roles more attractive or important, because times and attitudes change over the years. The relevance that memory gains on Winston's and Anna's ideals leads course of actions in their decaying cities, since what they evoke about their past life is different from what they are living in present days. The comparison between Auster's and Orwell's novels shows many characters who suffer an evolution. This gives basis that allows to stay the characters longing for a community from the very inner self outward. Anna Bloom and Winston Smith are physically located in realities which are not normal to them, in a sense that they have learned to manage and to fit into it, but they recall a different reality. Anna Bloom is a foreigner in the country. She can make a comparison between things at home and things in the country. She actually describes the new country and points out her own perception about it, although it is questionable whether she is accurate or not. The subjective perception charged with her own emotions is what proves her intentions to be placed in search of the communitarian stated once more, when she says, quote, "Life as we know it has ended, and yet no one is able to grasp what has taken its place." Thanks to her previous reality, Anna reacts in the present with the guidance of the memory as a rehearsal of community. In contrast with the country, Anna had to be with others and toward others in order to live. She had been in common with people who provided for her. Quote, "You remember how it used to be for me at home. The cook, the maid, the clean laundry, folded and put in my bureau drawers every Friday. I never had to lift a finger. The whole world was given to me, and I never even questioned it. Piano lessons, art lessons, summer by the lake in the country, trips abroad with my friends. Now I had become a drudge." Anna had had a wonderful life, and it was there present in her mind, reminding her that the country was an external circumstance and it did not represent her internal world, not even when she was about to let herself go and killed Ferdinand.
According to what my classmate has said, among these books, it's very important to take into consideration what these characters have been living in these decaying cities. Although Anna's perspective is highly influenced by the life she had at home, where she was not alone, and as she needed others to exist and to understand herself. She longs for the ones who define her as a family member when she is in this new city, a city which is unnameless. She uses her memories about her family to replicate this model of community with the people she is relating in the present, again, in this lost city. When Anna meets Isabel, someone who is very important for her, the connection between them is almost instantaneous. The love and protection that Isabel feels towards Anna is what makes her feel safe and as if she were at home. For instance, in this quote, as you can see and read, this is what Isabel tells her once she gets to live with her.
Quote, she says, "I'm going to do everything I can for you. No more sleeping outside, no more roaming the streets from morning to night, no more bad dreams. As long as I am alive, you'll have a place to live." Please imagine this as you are a child, a young girl, and you find this old woman who helped you, who gives you her hand. On the other side, with this relationship they create, provides evidence of the friendship that allows a meaningful connection between them, which can be as strong as a family bond. The ideal of community, which is what we are trying to reach among this investigation, is the expression in which Anna and Isabel materialize their fellowship. That's the way in which we can provide this sense of community. Winston, on the other hand, who is the main character of 1984, struggled with his own mind and his certainties, because at the beginning his past had been stolen. He goes back to the hungry boy he were when he was very young, he snatched the truth for the party's hands in the same way he took the chocolate from his sister's fingers. There is a passage in which he remembers that her little sister was a baby, and he can evoke that memory about stealing this chocolate from his sister's hand. And he looks for it, but only with the purpose of winning his past, even when it is a crime to remember, because the party owns history and alters it to its own benefit. Through dreams and evidence, Winston had come to the conclusion that things would be better without the party. He had turned into a rebel. It needs to be understood that the party at this time, it's called the government these days. So please take that into consideration to make the comparison. For Winston, unlike Anna, the past was sunk into a mist at first, and this made him doubtful, a bit hesitant, but at the same time nostalgic, and in need to know that things were different. Minor things, such as he remembered airplanes since his earliest childhood, and knowing that the party had not invented them, were enough proof for him. So, as you can see in this quote, this is something that he had been thinking from the whole story, from the very beginning of the story. But now with these little things that he remembers, he can have the proofs that things were different. As I said here, the party told you to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears. It was their final, most essential command. His heart sank as he thought of the normal power arrayed against him, the ease with which any party intellectual would overthrow him in debate, the subtle arguments which he would not be able to understand, much less answer. If you can read the last lines, it says, "Truisms are true. Hold on to that. The solid world exists. Is lost. Its laws do not change." According to this, it's very important for us to know that he knew deep in his mind that things were not always the same. Finally, and above all, he worked in the ministry of truth, which was a lie, because the only thing that he had to do there was to rewrite history to the party's benefit. To finish with this, let me tell you that this is a work in progress. We have not finished this investigation, so we have got to some conclusions that we can say. For instance, both of these novels are similar, although they have located in different cities or situations in years. They both have these dystopian realities, the destruction of vocabulary spoken or written. They also share this image of a government in which all procedure done is for its own benefit and not for the people. Something also very important, and something that we have kept in mind during this whole process, is that this comparative analysis might be very useful for teachers of English in Chile in order to increase our students' reading comprehension of a literary text, as well as to increase their abilities or interests in social issues that may enrich the construction or the reconstruction of a community. That is something that we have all lost these days. Well, that's most of it. Thank you very much.
¿Tenemos tiempo para una pregunta? Hola chiquillos. Sí, va a ser en español. Bacán, sí. Hicieron un trabajo comparativo que a mí me gustó mucho. Es por uno de los tópicos de la literatura que me gusta, que es la distopia. Hace algunos años atrás tuve el privilegio de compartir una tesis con unos amistades que también eran profesores de inglés, y ellos hicieron lo siguiente. No sé si a ustedes les gustaría este video. Voy al punto. Ellos, por ejemplo, tomaron a Cuervo de Poe, famoso poema, y sacaron una edición de Marvel del cómic, del Cuervo, sí, excelente, y hicieron, en vez de hacerle leer el Cuervo, hicieron leerle la versión del cómic, y fue así, me encantó mucho, y los chiquillos empezaron a leer a Poe, y fue una explosión maravillosa de fantasía y risa, y fue bonito. Mi pregunta es cómo ustedes, chiquillas, que van a ser profesoras traen este hermoso mundo de la historia, estos conceptos que quizás sean un poco avanzados, pero como el doublethink que se practica en 1984, cómo este hombre pasa de ser un capucho, una persona revolucionaria, con ideas subversivas, hasta amar al planeta. Cómo experimenta este cambio distópico, por decirlo así. ¿Cómo lleváis a un cabro chico, no sé si un cabro chico, pero a un adolescente a leer esas cosas, y a apreciarlas de esa manera? No digo una lectura guiada, sería un poquito distópico, pero sí por lo menos que a los chicos les guste la literatura. O sea, es súper bien. De hecho, ni acá nos gusta la literatura de eso. O sea, tengo compañeros que odian la literatura, odian entrar a clase de literatura, y lo más probable es que vayan a ser profe de literatura, y iban a dormir a las clases, ¿cachai? Iban como chato la literatura, me solo por lingüística, y básicamente la literatura en Chile luego está terrible, mal vista, y todos están aburridos. Yo veo a todos los compañeros aburridos, no quiero nombrar a nadie, y están chatos. Entonces, ¿cómo ustedes, como futuras profesoras, le dan así, cómo lo van a hacer leer a los cabros y que tengan estas visiones hermosas del hombre, del ser humano? Quizás me estoy yendo mucho en la ola, pero eso, ¿cómo lo van a hacer leer a los cabros? No sé si se han puesto a pensar eso.
Para responder,
Perdón, sí.
yo creo que la distopia en sí misma es negativa, pero toda distopia, o sea, esto lo dicen muchos autores, acarrea consigo una utopía. O sea, la utopía del personaje principal, en este caso, que tenemos dos personajes principales, Ana y Winston. Ellos dos siguen adelante, y tenemos en Auster tenemos un final abierto en el que no sabemos lo que pasa con el personaje principal. Entonces puede ser esperanzador o puede ser deprimente. Esa es la visión del lector. Y también tenemos esta distopia en la que aparentemente Winston dice al final que él ama a Big Brother. Pero también tenemos ese newspeak y ese doublethink en el que las palabras ya no son lo que significan. Entonces, ¿podemos realmente decir que Winston ama a Big Brother? No. Entonces, también es un final muy abierto. Y si seguimos leyendo más allá y leemos la parte de Newspeak, nos damos cuenta que muere. Newspeak muere, ¿por qué? Porque lo que el ser humano tiene en su interior no puede ser reprimido. No puede ser normado el lenguaje. Aunque queramos, podemos censurar, podemos maltratar, podemos generar, como lo hicieron ley seca a los gringos con el lenguaje, Pero aún así siempre va a haber lenguaje para lo que queremos transmitir. Y mientras el ser humano quiera transmitir algo, no va a haber nada que lo frene. Entonces, nuestra visión de la distopia no es una visión lúgubre, no es una visión que muere en agonía y sometida, sino que es una visión rebelde. Es una visión en la que el ser humano se para y le escupe la cara a lo que le molesta, a lo que le impide ser feliz. Entonces, eso es lo que nosotros comparamos y analizamos en estas dos novelas, que son muy buenas, leales, se lo recomiendo.
Y de acuerdo a lo que tú nos estás mencionando de cómo incluir esto para la adolescencia hoy, mira, de acuerdo a nuestras experiencias personales, nosotros venimos de Valparaíso, de acuerdo a nuestras experiencias personales, prácticas profesionales, preprácticas, etc., la adolescencia hoy, la educación hoy, en la media, es totalmente difícil, complicadísima. En base a eso, la única manera que hemos logrado, hemos conseguido de motivar a los chiquillos respecto a esto, sería ¿cómo? Así como tú dices, a lo mejor hacer una lectura guiada, cosa que no alcanzas a hacer en 45 minutos de clase. Es imposible. Realmente, en la realidad logras ¿qué? ¿20 minutos? ¿25 minutos? Entonces, ¿qué tenemos que hacer? Para eso, tienes que buscar todas las herramientas que un profesor de nuestra generación tiene. La tecnología, el dibujo, el arte. Existen las inteligencias múltiples. Y eso se vive, y es una realidad. Por ende, me parece que la metodología que nosotros ocuparíamos sería cortar trozos de la novela, ya sea 2 líneas, 3 líneas, de acuerdo a la realidad en el colegio en que estemos ubicados, y decirles, chicos, lean esto, entiéndanlo. ¿Ven algo de realidad en esto? ¿Se asemeja a lo que ustedes conocen? O sea, te digo, a modo personal, cuando nosotras analizamos las novelas para realizar este trabajo, para comenzarlo, nos pasó algo muy tragicómico. Íbamos por la calle, no creo que mis compañeros se molesten, pero íbamos por la calle y hasta el día de hoy. O sea, tú vas por la calle y decís, esto es igual que en el libro. O sea, nuestra sociedad está cortándose. Por ejemplo, en The Country, tú puedes ver todas estas segregaciones distintas con distintos propósitos, que en el fondo todos son como autodestrucción. Y en nuestra sociedad pasa lo mismo. A lo mejor en otro ámbito de cosas, pero también ocurre. Entonces, acercar a los chiquillos por medio de la literatura a sus realidades es posible. Es posible. Solo hay que buscar las formas, los métodos y los intereses personales de cada alumno, de acuerdo a la realidad donde tú estés trabajando. Creo que eso es... Sí. Claro, esa sería la única forma.
Muy cortito porque el cronómetro para disfrutar esta presentación está pegando. ¿Cuál fue el grupo que ustedes tomaron en el país de las últimas cosas para representar la comunidad? ¿El grupo de amigos con el que está Ana? ¿O hasta dónde llegaron? Porque es complicado.
Es que nosotros tomamos la comunidad como la plantea un poco Nancy, y nos tomamos también un poco Jean-Luc Nancy, la comunidad francesa, o Sigmund Bauman, que también habla de la modernidad. Estos son modernidad, entonces encaja en la modernidad, una modernidad líquida, en la que todas las normas, todo lo que es sólido se ha diluido. Nosotros ya nos dicen, no sé, nosotros pensamos en la amistad y no existe un parámetro que nosotros nos diga, esto define a la amistad, si es la amistad y esto es sólido. Entonces hoy en día las bases están muy disueltas. Tenemos amigos por conveniencia o porque tenemos justo un interés en común, tenemos pseudo comunidades que están juntas porque no sé, porque sociedades vecinales, los vecinos quieren limpieza en su barrio, entonces están juntos, son una comunidad. Pero Nancy lo que habla es de este clinamen, esto que nos une, porque los átomos solo son solo átomos. Pero si unimos todo y generamos los componentes necesarios, podemos armar a una persona, una estructura, algo que está más allá de una necesidad que surge. Eso no existe y es imposible. Entonces nosotros partimos de la base de que la comunidad es un ideal. Ana nunca llega a consolidar comunidad. Ella tiene una relación preciosa con Isabel, pero nunca consolida una comunidad. Está Ferdinand, está viviendo en una casa, comparten espacio, pero no son comunidad, así como decir, esto es comunidad. Cuando llega a la casa de acogida tampoco, cuando está con Samuel tampoco. Entonces, cuando vemos a Winston, se junta con Julia, pero tampoco la concreta la comunidad. Siempre hay una comunidad que está en la mente. Y eso es lo importante, que el ser humano tenga la idea de comunidad. Si nosotros tenemos la idea, el ideal de comunidad, entonces es posible trabajar en pro de eso. Y eso es lo que hablamos, la utopía dentro de la distopia. Eso.
Muchas gracias a los compañeros por participar.